Let's go to that Athlon Sports preseason first team all-SEC offense and defense. We always start with the offense, so let's start with the defense. We got defensive linemen, 5 of them, on the first team preseason Athlon all-conference squad from the SEC. James Pierce from Tennessee, Landon Jackson from Arkansas, Deion Walker from Kentucky, Nick Scourton from Texas A&M, Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. Those are your first-team All-SEC defensive linemen from Athlon. Any issue with any of those?
No, not really.
No. I saw
linebackers.
one way too early mock that had Nolan in the first round, and I mean, that's what they need him to be. If they're going to achieve their goals, he has got to be that feared, dominating force inside. He's certainly capable of that, but he's got to be it.
The linebackers, 3 of them. Michael Williams from Georgia. Is it Michael or Mikel? I can't remember. We'll go with Michael Williams. Harold Perkins Jr. from LSU. Are they going to try to hide him as a middle linebacker again, or are they going to let that dog eat?
I think they're going to let him eat.
They better.
And then Danny Stutzman from Oklahoma.
They're in the conference now. I don't know if you knew that or not.
4 defensive backs on the first-team defense as well. Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky. Malachi Moore from Alabama. Malachi Starks from Georgia. Billy Bowman Jr. from Oklahoma. So that's 2 first-team all-conference defensive players from OU coming into their first year in the SEC.
One more. They have it's below the
sorry.
fold.
Yeah, sorry. Jahdae Barron from Texas is a defensive back as well.
So Athlon did something really cool.
Going to be hell on wheels with that
5-3-5?
5-3-5 defense. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck opposing offenses.
I mean, in football, you're always trying to innovate and come up with creative ways to get an advantage on the field. Athlon is going ahead with the 13-man defense.
Yeah.
That'll win a lot of games, though.
Well, they just decided that they were going to go 5-3 up front and still play nickel in the back end.
I mean, that's just smart coaching, in my opinion.
Good luck scoring on that one.
Everybody else is playing checkers while Athlon's playing chess.
Yeah.
How many offensive players? Oh, we've got the old all-purpose player on offense, so we're going to go with more than 11 on the offensive side to kind of level the playing field.
Yeah.
First team All-SEC quarterback Carson Beck from Georgia. You're going to see that a lot as these preseason first teams come out. 2 running backs. One of them is a film star. Trevor Etienne from Georgia, the Florida transfer, and Jarquez Hunter from Auburn. Independent films. not big major studios.
I don't think it's going to win at Sundance, though. Call me crazy. God,
all-purpose player on the first-team offense is Luther Burden at Missouri. He may have a monster year.
Maybe the best overall player in the conference.
3 wide receivers. Trey Harris from Ole Miss. Juice Wells from Ole Miss. Isaiah Bond, the Alabama transfer at Texas.
Wells is interesting. Got to be healthy.
Yep.
Yeah, and then when you loop in the tight end, so spoiler, they have Prieskorn at tight end. I don't think that they're going to throw it enough for that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They don't. It's people that cover the SEC still just get Ole Miss wrong. Like, Harris is a great receiver. One-on-one, he graded out the highest in one-on-one, like in college football. I mean, he is an objective. He had a great season last year. Very reliable. All that. Prieskorn, by the time he got healthy, very reliable. Juice Wells has proven in the SEC. I get it. But people that cover the SEC still think that Lane Kiffin's offense just throws the ball all over the yard. That's what they do. They just rear back and just sling it, and that's all they do. They'll run the ball 55% or more of the time this season. That's what they do. They run the ball. So picking 3 Ole Miss pass catchers in your first-team offense, well, that's great publicity for Ole Miss. That it just doesn't match up with what they're going to do on the actual football field.
However, are we sure that there's not a little bit of a change this year? Because Lane Kiffin has a history of running his offense through his best options. You think about what he did with Blake Sims at quarterback at Alabama.
Yeah.
You think about when Alabama basically ran its entire offense through the wide receiver. Why can I not think of his name?
Yeah, but look at their rushing stats in his time at Alabama too, though.
Oh, no, they were good. They were good.
In pre-Judkins, Snoop Connor's he's had a nice little NFL career, but the three backs that he had, one's back, those weren't high-level running backs, and they still led the SEC in rushing.
I can't believe we're having Snoop Connor slander here on this show. Even I like Snoop Connor.
He was a really good college back, but he wasn't Quinshon. But they still led the SEC in rushing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not suggesting that they abandon the running game. I'm just saying if you've got playmakers at multiple wide receiver spots, and I mean, that's not taking into account Jordan Watkins being in the equation. So, we'll see. There's something to think about. So, Caden Prieskorn is the tight end. And then 5 offensive linemen, Emory Jones from LSU, Will Campbell from LSU, Kelvin Banks from Texas, Tate Ratledge from Georgia, and Tyler Booker from Alabama.
Works for me.
Spoiler alert, Alabama's got a pair of offensive tackles that everybody in the country would trade theirs for.
Yeah, and for some of the issues that LSU had running the football a year ago, some of that was health-related up front. Are they going to be healthy, and are they going to be better on the offensive line this year? It's going to go a long way toward determining their success.
They just don't have a stud running back either.
No, their leading rusher's gone.
Yeah. Who was their quarterback?
And that's another thing is what will that offense look like now that you don't have the fear of the quarterback taking off anymore?
John Emery has decided to come back to LSU for his final season. He has pulled his name out of the transfer portal.
Huge news.
I love how in his announcement he said committed. You're committed to the school that you're already going to?
So
it's like on your first anniversary after you get married. Hey, honey, I'm committed.
So LSU's backfield is now John Emery, who is a former 5-star fifth-year player now. Josh Williams is pretty good. And sophomore Caleb Williams, who showed some pop a year ago as well.
Yeah, going to double duty for the between that and the Bears.
Yeah, it'll be busy. He's talented, though.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
So they lose Logan Diggs, who's obviously got the injury but has transferred to Ole Miss, and Jaden Daniels, who led the team in rushing and won the Heisman Trophy last year.
So like I said, there's not a stud guy in there.
Yeah, you're right. You are.
Which is weird. It's LSU.
I know. What an interesting year this is for them. And I think about LSU so much because of, one, it'll be a big game for Ole Miss, or at least it should be. If it's not, then things were disastrous. But, I mean, LSU has always been feared in my lifetime. If you had to play LSU, that scared you because you knew that they were going to have a beast running the football. They were going to have a wide receiver that was just going to take the top off, and you knew that. And they were going to have a front six that was just filled with dudes. And they don't have, I mean, they portaled well at wide receiver, but do they have any of that?
We'll see.
We'll see.
A lot of top tens out there. Amanda in Pike County says we're going to suck. I don't know if I go that far either.
She is the
poor mouthing.
She is the queen of sandbagging.
She's poor mouthing.